there is a value to what obviously clients provide and what they do, right? And there's a value to what we do and what we provide for them, right? To help them
Right.
get to where they want to go. I guess it's kind of under the umbrella of once we get them to where they need to go and are successful,
Yeah.
it's time to, fly
Well, it's
away,
like
little
your
dove.
kids are, yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna,
Yeah.
it's,
And we're back, Rob, episode 157.
157.
157.
Not a lot you can say about 157. It's just kind of another number. There's
No,
nothing.
we say this at the beginning of every episode.
I
There's
was
not
trying
like
to
there's
come with some
nothing
sort
until
of
we hit 175, So
some sort of uh, cultural
does
reference. I got
uh,
nothing.
let me put this out there. Does it even matter what episode number it is? Does it even matter?
Well, I like to believe that there are a lot of fans that are chomping at the bit for the next episode, and they may be like, "Oh my God, 157's out!
Yeah.
Did you hear
Well,
157's out?"
there's definitely
Well,
something to that. We got to organize things somehow. We're humans. We have to like put things in boxes and put them in chronological order, and we're obsessive about order, So,
numeric. What else are
yeah,
you gonna do?
I don't
All
know.
right. Well, you might think that today's topic of discussion is a bummer when I
Uh-oh.
tell you what it is, but it's actually not a bummer,
Okay.
right?
I'm here for it.
I thought today we would talk about breaking up with clients.
Mm,
We're gonna call it breaking up with clients.
okay.
Now, sometimes that can be a
This is
positive thing.
this is a little yeah,
Yeah.
it's not taboo. This is salacious.
No, this is the real world that we live in,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Um, and I would venture to guess that, oftentimes companies, depending on the circumstance, but as their agencies, be it design or advertising or otherwise,
Yeah.
oftentimes we are the first to go.
Yeah, yeah.
We're the low hanging fruit when
You mean when it
consultants
comes to,
come
like,
in
budget?
or
Yeah,
reorgs happen or
yeah,
budgets get tightened
yeah,
or operations get, centralized or whatever the case may be. But
yeah.
oftentimes we are the first ones on the chopping block.
Sure.
Um, and so, but
Why
I'm
why do you
curious to
think that
ask,
is? Let me do a quick timeout. Why do you think that is? Just out of curiosity.
um,
I mean,
it's a
I've got
fair
my thoughts, but
It's a fair question. I think it's because oftentimes, and I think especially more and more so, um, sometimes, depending on the work that we're doing for them, sometimes it is difficult to give a hardline ROI,
yeah,
right? In the type of work that we do, right?
sure.
If somebody says, "Hey, we spent, on graphic design, we spent, let's say, $50,000 redoing their identity and da 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 da," it's difficult for internally for them or an outside consultant or whomever to come in and go, "Okay, well, that $50,000 generated X
Yeah,
amount of revenue." And I think more
understood.
and more
Yeah,
companies are being held accountable. Data is
yeah,
so much more available.
yeah,
Um, and I mean, and I don't know if that's the right answer, but
yeah,
that's an answer. I think
yeah,
sometimes it's difficult to quantify the type of work that we do.
sure.
Um, I would say, what would you say?
I think it's a variety pack there is no one silver bullet, of course, as to
Yeah,
why marketing, gets cut initially. But I think from an agency perspective, or we've always hammered on the fact that it is a relationship and trust based business, and you do your best business when there's trust, right? I think to a certain extent, to piggyback off what you're saying about it's hard to quantify exactly what we do, right? We are also coupled with being siloed with only one corner of the executive leadership team, right?
that's right.
And I think we have a great relationship potentially with team members and directors and things on ELTs, right? But then they have to then go and explain that to the rest of the ELT as to why they need XYZ money, right? And I think a lot of people, I'm painting with a broad brush here, but like it is sometimes the internal cell can fail, right? In terms of
Yeah,
trying to explain why it's justified in the money versus like operations or human head count. And, there's other
sales.
things that like
Yeah,
universally everybody can can understand in principle, right?
Yeah.
But it's much easier to go, "Hey, man, give that department a 30% wackaroo." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then just expect everything to still keep going. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like,
Right.
"Oh, we're gonna increase sales, but we're gonna cut all this." Like, it's,
Right.
like, people don't really understand that. It's very interesting. So,
Well, I think also too, you're right. It's a relationship, uh, you know, relationship based business that we're in,
yeah.
and a lot of times too, you'll have um, a new CMO comes in and goes, "Nope, I'm going to.
Yeah.
I have my preferred
Yeah, they
guys
have
that I
trust
work
with
with,
another team. Yeah.
and trust with another team,
Yeah.
outside of just, strictly budgets being cut.
Sure, sure.
You'll have that, and the good news there is we have such great relationships that when then when the former CMO lands somewhere else,
Yeah,
hopefully they
yeah.
do the same for us and take us
For sure,
elsewhere.
for sure.
Um, I think,
Anyway, I
but
totally interrupted your train of thought, though, with the question, so.
I don't know where I was going with that, other than
Oh,
to
no.
say, and sometimes I think also too in general, our relationships are, and there's obvious exceptions to anything, but they're oftentimes not long-term relationships, right? I mean, we have great clients that we've had for,
Yeah.
a decade or more, for
Yeah, yeah.
sure. But oftentimes they come in and it's a 2-year, 3-year,
Yeah,
relationship, and then boom, somebody goes to another place or da, 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 da. Um, and then sometimes I feel like, and especially maybe with a shop of our size, I don't know, you might not agree with this, but as companies grow, we're really good at taking companies from here to here. And at
sure,
some point along the way, they outgrow us,
sure,
right?
sure.
And that can be in terms of just pure head count, right?
Mhm.
Meaning sometimes
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
companies get bigger and bigger, they're like, no, 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 we need more bodies to be doing things. And we can
Yeah,
argue whether or not that's, apropos or
yeah,
not, but that certainly happens. And I think in the case of, the client that I was thinking of in particular, we're not going to name any names, of course, but it was just that. We had a great, I'm going to call it 6-year relationship with this
sure.
particular client, and took them from, we were incredibly successful working with them, and took them from here to here,
Totally.
really, over those 6 years.
Yeah,
Um, and I think it got to a point where, it was a classic case of, oh, here comes the consultant.
sure.
And, we always go, "Uh-oh, well, that's never good
Yeah,
when the consultant comes in." So the consultant came in, and all of a sudden it feels like, I don't wanna say we felt marginalized, that seems extreme, but in a way, sometimes it feels like that. But it's, "Hey, we need to cut this, and we need to cut this, and we need to cut this."
yeah,
But we wanna keep you guys on. We wanna keep the relationship going just under this different set of criteria.
yeah,
And I think that's where, what's important is the power of saying no, right?
yeah,
And I,
absolutely.
and I think as you're growing your agency over the years, there's a fear of saying no, right? Because you're like, well, no, I can't turn
Yeah,
down business. I can't turn down business.
yeah,
But you get to a point where, you've had this great success, you've had this good relationship, and then all of a sudden you're being asked to do things that are potentially slightly unreasonable from our point of view.
sure.
And the nature or dynamic of the relationship changes, and you just have to say, I think we're done. It's not you, it's
Yeah.
me,
And
right?
oh, yeah,
It's
absolutely,
like
absolutely.
breaking up with your high school sweetheart, right? Which is, it's not you, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
Let's still be friends.
Hey, for me, I think it was just everybody went off to college, you know what I mean?
Everybody went
But,
off to college.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we
No,
tried to
I
make
hear.
it work for a few months, and it just come Christmas
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
it's
no, I
different
mean,
here.
I hear you. It's, I think that we are very authentic in who we are, and I think that there's definitely there's truth in what you're saying in regards to we have our sweet spot, right? And we
Yeah,
have we're very good at our things, right? And yeah, we have some clients we've had for 15 years, and we've spoken about, hey, our methodology, the way that we work, and once clients get used to the way that we work, right? They love the way that we work and they can't go anywhere else. And that's
right.
part of the trust, right? But to your earlier point about, hey, some clients we have for a year or two, and that's because they don't need everything that we do for them every single year. We're not going to rebrand a company
That's
and
right.
redo all of their packaging and redo all of their, like, it's like, okay, we did it. That
We
was
did it.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, here's your 200 SKUs to go into retail. Here's your global brand standards guideline. Here are all your files. Here's all your stuff. Like, um, we're still here, but you don't.
But you don't really need us
Yeah,
for
you're
anything
not
yet.
gonna do that again. You know what I mean? I mean, so there are some clients or some projects where it's, hey, if we do a really great job, we work ourselves out of our own
Right.
business to a certain extent, right? Because
Right.
it's like, you don't need a brand new website every year, right? If we do our job appropriately, it should last for a number of years, right? Um, so it is, yeah, we have our sweet spot and we have our, hey, we get people from here to here. And that's because we have done the work on the authenticity of what makes us successful and what we do really well. And that's what we share with clients, right? We were just on I know we're not talking about this, but we were just on a discovery call with a client who's at their 5-year anniversary trying to figure out who they are, right?
Right.
And I don't know if you thought about this, because we obviously didn't mention it on the call with the client there, but I was thinking about when we did that for us as well, where it's like, hey, we've been in business for 5 years. The market is dictating kind of who we are versus us telling people who the market,
Right.
who we are to the market, right? And they were talking about lack of clarity, not people not knowing who they are. If you asked, all these different people what they do, they'd give them different answers. And it's like, man, that is exactly what most companies go through, but
Yep.
also what we went through, right?
Yeah.
And then that helped shape who we are and what we're good at and what we can do, right?
Right.
And yeah, oftentimes, that works really, really well for a continual, retainer-based client where, this is what you need, this is what we do, bam, this is a great marriage. Um, but, to your point, hey, a consultant comes in and wants to maybe start changing things and start, operational efficiency type scenario and stuff like that. And the power of no is a good thing for everybody,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's, hey, you're not now in a bad relationship, but it's also, hey, this is what's best for you, but it's also what's best for us, that type of
Yeah.
thing. So,
And I mean,
yeah.
not to get too armchair psychologist, but it's
Hey, bring it.
like anything else. We'll use the relationship analogy, the high school sweetheart analogy, but like it kind of hurts at first. And you're like,
Sure.
oh, okay. But
Sure.
it's better in the long run. And then you can you take a minute, you take a beat, and sit with it for a little bit, and then you go, you know what, this is something to be proud of. This is a great run,
Yeah.
and you look back on it fondly, and
Totally.
everybody agrees it was super successful.
Yeah.
It just was time to
Yeah.
just was time to part ways.
Yeah, we haven't, we've been very fortunate, I think, over the years to not really have to deal with that situation too often.
Not
I'm
too
thinking
often.
of no, there was one other one, which I'm sure we've told this story at some point in 157 episodes about letting go of our biggest client at the time, right? But it had to be done,
It had
right?
to be done. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is different than that, but that was like, yeah, we've been through 3 different like, all it was just it was just it was a bad it was a bad relationship, bad
Yeah.
girlfriend, right? And that was scary for a different reason, but that one had to go, but everything was better on the other side of that, you
That's
know?
right.
So,
Hard to see at the
so,
moment sometimes, but it
yeah.
always is. But I think also too, you know, you and I were just talking about what's it called? Savannah banana? Can of banana?
Oh,
I
Nano
forget what it is.
Banana.
Nano banana, yeah,
Nano
yeah.
Banana, the Gemini
It's for those
AI,
yeah,
yeah,
it's Gemini's, Google's AI image creation tool.
yeah,
But I think that's also true. I think in this day and age, you're going to see more and more of if I'm predicting the future, um, you're absolutely gonna see more companies bringing teams in-house,
yeah,
because they feel like, "Oh, we've got all these great tools,
mhm,
and we can do all of this stuff in-house."
yeah,
And that's not to argue that point because I think that absolutely they will be
yeah,
able to do that because it will enable them to do a lot of things in-house. Now, that's not to put us out of business,
mhm.
um,
There's
but
always
I
been
think
in-house teams
yeah, yeah,
f
yeah. Yeah, but
forever, since forever.
I think you're gonna see more you're gonna see more of that just based on the all the tools that are coming out and the technology and everything that's happening. I mean, you just are.
Yeah, I mean, you know, uh, there is a level of acceptable quality, right? And you get an internal team and it's good enough, right? A photographer we use all the time that I know I've quoted before, mediocrity is the new excellence. right? And a lot of AI tools will only get better, right?
Right.
But it is just mediocrity, but it is acceptable, right? And so, what the future of our business is, who knows? I mean, maybe it's more in the strategic consulting and the outside perspective.
I think that's what it is.
It's not just production and design anymore because that will be kind of um, but it's everywhere and it's acceptable. I got an email from my school superintendent administrator, and it was 4 or 5 paragraphs of gobbledygook nothing. Right.
Right.
The first thing I did was I put it into AI detector. This is the superintendent of an entire school district, right? Came back 54% AI generated,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Um, it's just acceptable now. This is the
Yeah.
superintendent of who is educating our you know what I mean? But it was wow, so, Nano Banana, which by the way goes to prove that you could literally name anything now.
Nano banana.
It
Yeah.
doesn't even matter what you name anything,
Yeah.
if you can get away with being a multi-trillion dollar company and name your thing, Nano Banana, right?
Yeah. Well, MailChimp,
I mean, yeah. Well,
I
MailChimp,
mean,
but look, when MailChimp started, it was all like chimpanzees and monkeys and apes and bananas
right.
and stuff. You know what I mean? And at least it had mail in it, right? And
That's
it's,
right. At least
I
it
mean, it
had
was,
mail on it.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Nano banana. I mean, my
Right.
word. I kind of lost myself on my own train of thought here, but
Well,
it's
you were
it
talking about the AI
mediocrity.
tool. Yeah.
Yeah, the mediocrity of being the new X. Like some of that internal production stuff is just going to go internal, right? There is clients will always have a value sense or a tipping scale, right? Of, hey, how many people are actually working on my business? Should I bring those people in house or not? You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, oh, I've got an agency team that has 7 people working on my business every single day. I have a fixed cost, right? I don't have to pay
Yeah.
for their benefits and their health, blah, 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 blah. It's totally a value, right? Versus when does that tipping point occur to I can deal with the lack of quality,
Yeah.
right? And then also, by the way, someone has to manage all those people. But it's more cost effective to bring it in
Yeah.
house.
I mean,
So
I think what you're going to see since we're going down this path is you will see a lot of lower level agency work being brought in-house. And here's what I mean by that. If you're a social agency,
yeah,
you're absolutely using AI to write social posts.
absolutely.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that's you shouldn't do that. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. Of course, you should do that. That's
Yeah,
a new tool, and you can use it and use
yeah,
it effectively.
yeah,
But I think you're going to have. I think the value is going to be in more senior level ideation, right?
yeah.
If you think about it from an advertising standpoint, it's going to be the ideas and the experts that come in with the ideas, and then I think from a high level like graphic design perspective, it's going to be companies that appreciate and understand that design tools like AI and whatever else are not designers. There's a distinction between designers and design tools,
Well
right?
said. Yeah, well
AI
said.
doesn't understand the science and art behind typography.
Sure.
It can spit out
Yeah,
something, but it's all what you're feeding it,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
if you're not a designer and you're not a trained
yeah.
designer, you don't know what to feed it.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
so I think, yeah, and again, we're off on a tangent, but
No,
I think that's what'll happen. I think there'll absolutely be value, but I think it's going to be the more senior level, experienced ideas and designers and photographers and whatever else. I think there'll still be a need for that. I just see the lower level, B and C teams kind of being cut out of the mix.
yeah, yeah, or having to be internal resource.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, we're all beholden. We've talked about SEO on this podcast a lot. I mean, we're all beholden to the machines, right? And like, hey, we're all trying to not game the system, but we're trying to work the machines to our benefit. So when a human is searching for something through this magical machine portal, right? We appear, right? Pretty soon there's going to be no it's just going to be machine to try to trick us into finding
Yeah,
what we were
yeah,
looking for, right?
yeah.
So we don't need those B and C or D level teams anymore because it's all just machine created, content, right?
Yeah.
And I sound like some crazy Matrix conspiracy theorist, whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't, just hey, write a blog article about this, whatever, you know what I mean? It's just again, I keep saying mediocrity is the new X. It's just content. As soon as we devalued everything by calling it content, it just kind of goes into the tidal wave of stuff that's out there,
Yeah.
you know? Um, which, I don't know how to bring that back around again to clients come and clients go, and sometimes it's the most powerful word is no, but, you know, um, there is a value to what obviously clients provide and what they do, right? And there's a value to what we do and what we provide for them, right? To help
Yeah.
them get to where they want to go. I guess it's kind of under the umbrella of once we get them to where they need to go, right? And are successful,
Yeah.
it's time to, fly
Well, it's
away,
like
little
the
dove.
kids are yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah,
it's like when the kids go off to college, it's like,
yeah,
"Oh, I've done my job. I've hopefully
yeah,
prepared
yeah.
you for success," you
It's a
know?
weird it's a weird feeling, you know what I mean? And we've been through these battles for decades now, right? And it doesn't make it easier or whatever. It's still kind of the same thing, but it's
Yeah.
like it's a trip. It's
Here's
just
the
it is a
difference.
yeah.
Here's the fundamental difference. When your kids go off to college, you you don't
They call
want
you?
them calling you for money.
Yeah.
When your clients go away, you kinda want them calling you for money every
Yeah.
calling
Yeah.
you back and
That's a
asking you
very
for
good
money.
point. No, that's a very, very yeah, you never really hear from them, again. Do you know what I mean? Although, it should be noted that we have had clients move on to other places
To come back.
only
That's
to
right.
return, right?
And significant ones as
Ab
well, yeah.
yeah,
That happened
absolutely.
just
So, I mean,
recently.
that should be noted too as a testament of, how we run the business and what we do and the value there is that like, "Hey, yeah, you thought the grass." Well, it doesn't even matter the reason why anyone
Yeah,
leaves,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it was, "Hey, what a great phone call I just got. You'll never believe who just," like,
Yeah.
those I still kinda get a kick out of that, you know what I mean? Like, "Oh, the boomerang has come back around again. Like,
Well,
this is
you
awesome." Yeah.
file it under the never burn any bridges, you never
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's great
Yeah.
when clients are gone for, I mean, years
Yeah.
and then hit you back and say, "Hey, well, let's get the band back." We always say
Yeah.
it, "Let's get the band back together."
Yeah, we're doing a
And we
reunion
love a
tour.
reunion tour. We
Yeah,
love a
yeah,
reunion tour.
yeah.
Um,
That's funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Uh, yeah, I guess it's one of those things, I don't know how many agency podcasts are talking about losing clients, but it is something that happens. I mean, clients come and clients go,
Yeah,
it's not always a bad thing for both sides of the
for both
fence.
sides, right,
So,
for both sides.
yeah.
So, we're turning
Where
that
can
frown upside down.
where can those new clients find us, Rob?
That's right. Well, I'll tell you where they can find us.
Yeah,
Um, I presume many of them are listening to this podcast right now and are like,
absolutely.
"We gotta
Yeah,
call these guys."
yeah, absolutely. They
They're
know
in
what the
need
hell
of
they're talking about.
a new client, so
Mhm,
let's call
yeah.
them now. Uh, no, you can find us right on the YouTubes and, of course, at mocktheagency.com and on
Yep,
all the socials. We're not tough to find, and, I think
yeah.
that brings us to an end for 157
And scene.
and scene. We'll see you back here
Alright,
for
we'll see you next time.
158.